Man, Disney has a lot of reimaginings of their own properties coming out this year. Dumbo, Aladdin, The Lion King, Maleficent 2, and even a live-action Lady and the Tramp movie coming out on Disney Plus on the day of its launch. Why do these exist? Is Hollywood so out of original ideas that they have to ruin their classic films by making cheap, lazy, corporate cash-in remakes that can never be better than the originals? If I'm being honest, I think we're overreacting to this whole situation. I personally do not see the harm in these movie remakes. People get excited when a musical artist does a cover of a song that previously existed, or when a video game gets remade, but when movies get remade, how come everyone just clenches their assholes? Well, that's what this video is for. This will be a video essay as to why I feel there's absolutely no harm in remakes, and that Hollywood is not out of original ideas.
Remakes are always terrible. Original movies are always better.
While yes, there are absolutely some remakes that did not receive praise from critics and audiences, there are still so many that did, and many of which you didn't even know were remakes, such as 12 Monkeys, that was a remake. The Bourne Identity, that was a remake. Cape Fear, that was a remake. The Departed, that was a remake. A Fistful of Dollars, remake. The Fly, remake. Insomnia, remake. It, remake. The Lord of the Rings trilogy? Yep, even they were remakes of animated movies. But that doesn't stop there. The Magnificent Seven? Remake. The Man Who Knew Too Much? Remake. Meet the Parents? Remake. Nosferatu the Vampire? Remake. Ocean's 11? Remake. The Parent Trap? Remake. Scarface? Remake. A Star is Born? Oh man, there were so many versions of A Star is Born. The Talented Mr. Ripley? Remake. The Ten Commandments? Remake. The Thing? Remake. The Wizard of Oz? There were so many versions of The Wizard of Oz before even the 1939 version came out. And just because a movie is original does not mean it's automatically better than a random remake. You know what were some critically reviled original movies? Well, let's check some of them out. Three Strikes, The Adventures of Pluto Nash, The Adventures of Shark Boy and Lava Girl, After Earth, All About Steve, Anaconda, Burn Hollywood Burn, Armageddon, Baby Geniuses, Ballistic X vs. Sever, Big Daddy, Blended, The Bounty Hunter, Bucky Larson Born to be a Star, Constellation, Crossroads, Delta Farce, Dirty Grandpa, Dirty Love, The Disappointments Room, Driven, Ed, Eight Crazy Nights, Fire Down Below, Freddy Got Fingered, From Justin to Kelly, Glitter, Gotti, The Happening, The Happy Time Murders, Health Inspector, Homecoming, The Hottie and the Nutty, The Hurricane Heist, I Know Who Killed Me, I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, Jack and Jill, Jupiter Ascending, Kangaroo Jack, Lady in the Water, The Legend of Sasquatch, Little Nicky, Little Man, The Love Guru, A Low Down Dirty Shame, Man of the Hands of Fate, A Million Ways to Die in the West, Movie 43, Norbit, Norm of the North, The Odd Life of Timothy Green, The Oogie Loves in the Big Balloon Adventure, Pearl Harbor, The Problem Child, Real Cancun, Red Line, The Room, RV, Saving Christmas, Shadow Conspiracy, Show Dogs, Showgirls, Spice World, Stolen, Surviving Christmas, That's My Boy, 1,000 Words, 3,000 Miles to Graceland, United Passions, Voiceless, Wagons East, War Room, Waterworld, White Chicks, Winchester, Witless Protection, and Zookeeper. All of these movies were trashed by critics even though they were original. I'm not saying remakes are always better than films that were made from original ideas, but I'm saying whether or not a movie was an original idea is completely irrelevant. A movie, regardless if it's original or adapted, still has to be a good movie. We tend to only look at the bad remakes and point our fingers at them because they are recognizable IPs that will stick with us longer. But when a shitty original film like Norm of the North comes out, we tend to brush it off as if it never existed. The gamble in making a movie good still exists regardless if it's a remake or original.
Remakes are just corporate cash grabs.
Well, no shit. But guess what? Every movie ever made was a corporate cash grab. You really think studios pour millions of dollars into making movies and not expect to get money out of it? You really don't think A24 didn't want that sweet post-Oscar dough when Moonlight won Best Picture at the Academy Awards? Movies are made to make money. And don't give me the whole studios don't care about making remakes good, because that's a bold-faced lie. You really think Fox would have greenlighted Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes remake with a $100 million budget if they didn't care if it was going to be good? Absolutely not. They probably thought they were making a great sci-fi action film. It just so happens that they failed. And yeah, some bad movies like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom make tons of money, but I guarantee that if critics and audiences liked it, it would have made even more money, because if it had good word of mouth, people would keep coming back to watch it. Yes, remakes are corporate cash grabs, but the fact is that all movies are corporate cash grabs. If studios didn't care about making money, then there would be no movie business. But at the same time, studios also care about how good the film is, because if people like it, they will want to come back to see it, which equals more money. Whether or not the film turns out good or bad is revealed in the editing room, because only then do you really get to see an idea on how the film works as a whole. So yes, studios care about making as much money as possible by trying to make their films as good as possible, unless that movie's a disaster movie.
There's nothing to add to the originals.
That's not really the issue here. A lot of problems I find in bad remakes are due to the film itself being a bad movie. Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes failed because it tried to tackle so many equality issues to the point to where it lost whatever message it was trying to set up. Sometimes humans are pets, sometimes they're slaves, sometimes the apes are surprised at the humans' intelligence, and sometimes it doesn't even faze them. That, on top of almost non-existent character development, and an ending that was so confusing that even Tim Burton himself didn't even know what it meant, is why the film itself didn't work. What about The Wicker Man? I didn't even initially know it was a remake when I saw this film, and I still thought it was garbage. The over-the-top acting, the laugh-out-loud stupid lines, and editing that honestly makes it look like a comedy is what makes The Wicker Man bad. What about 1998's Godzilla? Okay, I know it's a reboot, not necessarily a remake of the original Japanese film, but bear with me. Godzilla failed not because of the original, but because of really bland character development, a story that made no sense whatsoever, and CGI that is embarrassing even for 1998. The problem with how bad some of these remakes aren't because of how good the originals are, it's because these remakes are bad movies.
Why would you bother doing a remake if it's not better than the original?
Jeez, I get this question a lot. We seem to live in an era where something has to be better than another in order for it to be good. I feel like this is a bad mindset to have, as it creates unrealistic expectations. That'd be like saying, since most people consider The Godfather to be the best film of all time, that means we can't make any more movies. I mean, can't be as good as The Godfather, so what's the point in making another movie? Or what about The Dark Knight? The Dark Knight is the greatest superhero film of all time. Does that mean that no one should ever make another superhero movie ever again? No! If we stopped at The Dark Knight, we wouldn't get X-Men Days of Future Past. We wouldn't get Captain America the Winter Soldier. We wouldn't get Captain America Civil War. We wouldn't get Logan. We wouldn't get Avengers Infinity War. And we wouldn't get Avengers Endgame. Am I being extreme? Probably, but the same exact logic applies here. If you honestly think the remake has to be better than the original in order for it to be good, then I feel like you're just setting yourself up to hate the movie. Why isn't good enough? And again, I must emphasize, studios want all their films to be the best they can possibly be. Just because a remake wasn't better than the original doesn't mean the studios intended for that.
But remakes encourage studios to make less original films.
Bullshit. There are more original films being made now more than ever. Let's take a look at some of the major critically acclaimed original films that came out just last year, 2018. And I don't even have to go into movies like BlacKkKlansman that were based on books. I could just name a bunch of movies that weren't based on anything. Like At Eternity's Gate, Bohemian Rhapsody, Capernaum, Cold War, Colette, Destroyer, 8th Grade, The Favorite, First Reformed, Green Book, The Happy Prince, Hereditary, Isle of Dogs, Mid-90s, The Mule, On the Basis of Sex, Private Life, A Quiet Place, The Writer, Roma, Sorry to Bother You, Stan and Ollie, Everybody Knows, Tully, Vice, What They Had. What about the year 2017? Well, we had American Made, Baby Driver, Battle of the Sexes, The Big Sick, Coco, Columbus, Darkest Hour, Detroit, Dunkirk, Get Out, Hostiles, I, Tonya, Ingrid Goes West, Ladybird, Logan Lucky, Marshall, The Meyerowitz Stories, New and Selected, Mother, Okja, Phantom Thread, The Post, The Shape of Water, which won Best Picture, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Wind River. 2016 had American Honey, Cafe Society, Captain Fantastic, The Edge of 17, Everybody Wants Some, Eye in the Sky, Florence Foster Jenkins, The Founder, Green Room, Hail Caesar, Hell or High Water, I, Daniel Blake, Jackie, Kubo and the Two Strings, La La Land, The Lobster, Manchester by the Sea, Miss Sloane, Moana, The Nice Guys, Patterson, Patriots Day, Sing Street, Tony Erdmann, 20th Century Women, The Witch, Zootopia. What about 2015? Well, we had 99 Homes, Bone Tomahawk, Bridge of Spies, Clouds of Sils Maria, Ex Machina, Grandma, The Hateful Eight, I'll See You in My Dreams, Inside Out, It Follows, Love and Mercy, Mistress America, Son of Saul, Sicario, Spotlight, Straight Outta Compton, Suffragette, Time Out of Mind, Trainwreck, The Visit, While We're Young, and Youth. And keep in mind, those were just some of the original movies that came out around that period of time. There are probably hundreds more than I'm missing. I was just pointing out the more noticeable ones. Hell, let's even do a little math experiment. In the United States alone, We made 660 films that were theatrically released in 2017, and that number will go up as time goes on. Now let's take the year in cinema with the most remakes, which was 2005. That year, there were 18 remakes, 2 reboots, and 3 television adaptations. Just for the sake of the argument, let's include all 3 categories, and we get 23 remakes in 2005, and everyone says 2019 has a lot of remakes. So, let's say 660 movies came out in a year, and 23 of those movies were remakes, reboots, etc. You know what that would equate to? Only 3.4% of the movies that came out every year would be remakes, given the most extreme remake scenario in history. Hell, even for 2005, that wasn't a lot, because there were 547 movies released in the United States in 2005, so even if I did the percentage math for that, that still means only 4.2% of movies that came out that year in theaters were remakes or reboots. So the claim that Hollywood is out of original ideas and only wants to do remakes or reboots is a mathematically false statement. More original movies have, are, and will always come out. And with the advent of streaming these days, where you can just find just about any movie you want on Google Play or Amazon or some other device, you really have no excuse to not watch original movies unless you don't have the money to do so, which, even then, if you have no money, you can't really watch anything. Maybe it's not the studio's fault for not making original movies, because they are. Maybe it's your fault for not seeing them.
Remakes ruin the original films.
How? Did Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes somehow make everyone hate the original classic? I still see more people talking about the original Psycho and how revolutionary it was, rather than the forgotten remake. It's not like George Lucas changing the original films and never letting anyone see the original versions ever again. You can still watch the original Aladdin. Same thing goes with Dumbo, The Lion King, Lady and the Tramp, and Sleeping Beauty. If the original films still exist and I can still watch them, then I don't really see the issue. And if a remake is bad, it certainly has no effect on how good or bad the original is.
But people will lose interest in the original films.
Again, that argument is completely wrong. If anything, when remakes come out, it creates more interest in the original. For example, when the animated Grinch remake was coming out last year, I saw on the popular movie section on YouTube, because you can buy movies on YouTube, both previous versions of How the Grinch Stole Christmas were trending. Same thing happened with It. When the new movie was coming out, the original miniseries started gaining more rental sales. So, more people wanted to watch the original films because the new ones were coming out? I guess you could say that remakes help out the original films. It brings attention to what made the originals such classics, and even if the new ones don't work out, it makes us appreciate the original all the more. Are remakes ruining Hollywood? Not in the slightest. And look, support good original movies too. There are great new ideas being made every year. In fact, why not just support good movies in general, regardless if they're original or remakes or reboots? Maybe the issue isn't remakes or reboots. Maybe the issue is just bad movies.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah!
Thank you guys for listening to this editorial. This issue has been popping up a lot lately, and I really wanted to give my opinion on this. And hey, if you appreciate this video, why not give it a like and share the video so that we can get the channel circulated? Don't forget to support my Patreon on my Patreon page, or if you can't do that, then consider supporting me through my PayPal donation button in the description below. And if you want to see more, click this.